Hey you guys, it's Mahogany Sweets. I'm back with another video. So, I wanted to come talk to you guys this time about Kevin Samuels and his passing, right? Well, while he was alive, Kevin Samuels had blown up based off his interactions with women, specifically black women, talking about relationships and singleness and the different sexes, right? And what blew him up was his harsh tone with women. He was very honest and very logical. And in some ways, he was disrespectful. So before, he had already had a channel and he was addressing men. And even once his channel blew up, he still addressed men. Where he was talking to men and letting them know, hey, you should be earning and making this amount if you want a woman. You should be able to care for a woman and she not have to work if you want, talking about you want a woman. He was getting on men. Do you even own a home? Do you have your own car? Are you living in your mom's crib? Like, so he was actually having the same logic and same brutality, honesty with men. But more women began craving and turning to him. And a lot of people had a problem with him. And I'm going to tell you where I stood with it. Kevin Samuels said a lot of things that I actually agree with and understood perfectly. Like I said, right, he's a man. Men speak from a logical aspect. They are not emotional creatures. And they actually are bred to even hone down their emotions, right? So you got two things going on. You got one, nature, where they're not even that emotional to begin with. And then you got the second thing, nurture, where society already tells them to get out of their feelings and not necessarily to address them. So men typically deal with things from a logical standpoint. And the things he was saying to women were logical things that I could agree with most of them. And I think on one hand, a lot of women have an issue with him. But on the other hand, it was all women that went and was basically supporting this man. And it was because they needed that honesty. They wanted to hear that honesty. And wanted a man's perspective, which I agree with. I have always been a type myself. I want to talk about the thinking and inner workings of a man or how I should deal with a situation with this man. I'm going to go to a man to get that opinion. Of course, I take women opinion and advice about certain things, but it depends on which side of the coin it's on. But if it's dealing with a man, right, I want a man's opinion because that's going to get me closer to where I need to be and what I need to know, right? So this is the issue, which I was going to do a video about the difference on between black women and white women and how we're bred. But the issue comes in where we're dealing in a society, yes, as black women, where everything is pushing us to be more masculine, right? To be in this mindset of you don't need a man and practically to be a man energy. And men, it's a repellent to them. Masculine energy is a repellent to men. Men respond to feminine energy, which is part of what Kevin Samuels was trying to do was get you women to tap into understanding your feminine energy and how you should show up as a woman and being that feminine energy or whatever. Because what a lot of you don't understand, while we're being bred to move away from our femininity, to not be soft, to be masculine, and that how we don't need a man, you have every other race of woman are still being bred on how to get a man and keep a man, right? That's how they're being raised, bred, and treated. So they are walking most of the time in their feminine energy. Still walking in the emotional aspect of it, because that's why I try and tell people, like, what? You think white women don't yell, scream, curse, and be all emotional? Because, see, that's emotional. That's not masculine. Like, you don't think white women tear up cars and do all that? Like, no, they do all that shit that we do, too. That's an emotional thing. But the difference is, though, they're still bred to walk into femininity, to know and desire how to get a man and how to sit in their femininity to allow a man to be a man. Black women have been tipsy-turvy, right? And that's all about design. It's partly systemic and spiritual of why black men and black women are having an issue coexisting with each other, right? Or at odds and fighting. And instead of realizing, okay, we're both the puzzle piece that needs to come jointly together, right? That's the perfectness of it. Neither one of us is whole without the other. So that's the issue. So when Kevin Samuels, I heard him, I felt it's perfectly needed. I actually feel that right now what black women truly need from a group that I was in, which was, it was women in general, majority black women, and it was a single group. Some of the women were dating, some were married though, but for the most part, it was a single group made by women who had gotten married, but were coming from singlehood. And some of the women married for years, and it was basically where the women in the group would come and ask questions, get advice, say what their issue was, what it is they were seeking, what they needed, how things have been. So we would pray for each other, we would give each other advice, we would talk and walk each other through certain things and stuff like that. Women would come in, we would celebrate them, ones who had they got the title now, they're married or they're engaged, or you know, stuff like that. And in that group, a lot of questions was asked, and it gave me an eye-opener. It was an eye-opener to me of how us women show up in the world and how we think. And I seen a lot of things that were just out of order and impractical, right? So I would give my advice, and a lot of the women would come to my DMs, direct message me, because they would want more of my advice pertaining to their specific matter, or want me to go deeper on whatever the topic was that I was giving advice about. So what I decided to do, like, I'm gonna make a channel about this, because as women, we need to come together. We need to be taught how to be women and walk in femininity. We need to be repackage ourselves in the proper way that we were intended, and how it even used to be in some ways. Not talking about going back in the mentality of how things were ran back in the 60s, 50s, 40s, but just in womanhood from back then. We need some of those things back. And the whole reason why we got the problem we got today is because we don't have them. Because everything is teaching us to be opposite of a lady. Like, we're not even ladies anymore. And that is the problem that men have. You got men out here, half of it is them rebelling and pissed off because our bar is so low, right? They dealing with that to where they're not even being asked to stand up and be a man. They don't even have to reach a certain level, you know, behave in a certain manner to get you. So a part of them are partially mad about that. It's like they don't got nothing they got to even work for or aren't anymore. They have nothing to desire and cherish anymore, because everything is just out there. Right? So you got some men, they're pissed off at women just because, let me get back to Kevin Samuels. My point is Kevin Samuels. So Kevin Samuels, his message was accurate for the most part. It was accurate, and that's why so many people listen to him. So y'all women who wanted to get mad, get bitter, and throw darts at him, okay, fine. Right? He was alive, and y'all could debate him on that, cool. But once he died, and I seen how women came and laughed at this man's death, women came and celebrated, called themselves celebrating this man's death, all kind of despicable things. I was just shocked, like, wow, this is a human life. And people have gotten so cold. Their hearts have waxed so cold, so evil, so just desensitized, or so hateful, angry, and hurt, that they are celebrating this man's death. Like, I don't care, nothing he said deserved that type of response to this man's life being gone. And to me, it spoke volumes about who us as women are, and or who those women are that will celebrate this man's death, all because he hurt their feelings with something that he said. Crazy. And I hope these ain't the same women talking about BLM or is it called? Yeah. I hope these ain't the same women talking about BLM, because those are the same ones who's saying we deserve to die if we look threatening to them, if we holding a phone, if we selling water on a corner. Like, these are the same ones who they feel we deserve to die for such nonsense. And y'all basically celebrating your brother, y'all celebrating his death because y'all didn't like and couldn't handle the truth he told about how he felt. Couldn't handle the truth he told about us women. Couldn't handle the, I guess, rejection or whatever it is that you felt and what he had to say. You celebrate this man's death, and then not giving no thought to his loved ones that are still alive and are witnessing you do this. I looked across social media and I was like, wow, this is crazy. Crazy that we have women doing this. I was embarrassed. I felt ashamed. And I was just confused. Like, wow, the world has really gotten this bad that people celebrating this man's death over his opinion, over his advice, over his, what would you call that? Over his correction. So, I just wanted to come and say that I think that y'all need to look at yourselves and the fact that if you go back and look at his videos prior to, he addressed men on their F-boy stuff. What he was doing, if you would allow it to, was beneficial and helpful to women to get a better understanding of how men thought and where they're coming from. You should be mature enough to be able to handle someone having an opposing viewpoint or position from yours and it not result to you dismissing anything else that they said that could have been helpful, beneficial, or was correct, or even just respecting the fact that they look and feel about something differently than you. I think a lot of you took out all of your daddy issues and your baby daddy issues and all of that out on him, right? Like, okay, this is a man I'm going to throw all this hurt and anger and frustration to. I'm going to put it on him. And luckily he was strong enough to bear it. I'm hoping he was strong enough to bear it. But please just try and go back and look at things. And this is the other thing. If y'all want to know men and want to know what men want and like, regardless if you agree with his viewpoints or not, that's not up for debate. If he's telling you, this is how men think. Men is what you want and this is what you have issues with. You're coming to a man trying to find out why you're having these issues, and he's telling you what it is. So whether you agree with it or not, it doesn't matter. It's simply fact, because that's how men think, and he was giving you that insight, right? You gotta, if what you want is a man in a good relationship, then you need to learn how they think. You need to learn what men need and want. You need to learn what men feel is feminine. What, like, regardless if you agree with it or not, learn them. And grow with them and do better so we can begin to fix and heal the trauma between both of the sexes. But also, my other channel, I am going to post those questions and do videos about it anyway and give you guys my advice, and we can go over on that other channel. I was supposed to start it, I think last year or the year before last. Luckily, I was going through everything because I'm like, let me get these videos out, stuff that I had screenshotted and had information for in there. And I came across it and I was like, all right, this would be perfect. Kevin Samuels kind of falls into this. So luckily, I do still have a lot of those, tons of those questions in there. I did not erase them, and I am going to start this week doing the videos on that other page addressing those questions. And we can get deeper into this as women, because I wanted to kind of not only just address that, but we need to go back on etiquette, femininity, being a lady. And like I said, even with men, I even want to do stuff on that page where I interview men. So thanks for watching. Bye.